Yo, what's up, good people? Y'all know what time it is, baby. It's AA Sports, straight sports, no chaser. And you've got the super team of sports talk here with y'all. Y'all know our names. It's me, Diego Barishnikov, the Black Dominican Russian, checking in with my main man, my partner in crime, the 6 foot and under post-up champ. Tell them who you are.
What's good people? It's your boy Uncle Hate, the other A in AA Sports, here on a Tuesday, broadcasting live, ready to get it in. What's good, homie?
No, man, I can't call it. We again appreciate y'all tuning in, people. On a Tuesday night, election night. We all here.
Hope y'all asses got out there and voted. I hope y'all did.
Of course, y'all know we're gonna kick y'all. We're gonna hit y'all off tonight with some Week 9 NFL recaps. Of course, we got tidbits, news and notes, and also we got another new little section this week. Overreaction to real talk, so we'll hit that up later on. But as always, viewers, we appreciate y'all as always. Continue to watch, hit that subscribe button if you're watching us on the YouTube channel. And those of you guys that listen to us on podcast platform on either iTunes or Spreaker could continue to do so as well. We appreciate those numbers and that support. Again, both platforms, you can catch us and search us and find us at AA Sportscast. Straight sports, no chaser.
Yes, sir.
All right. But y'all know how we started off as always. Open bar, little segment we like to call something like the news. This is our entertainment section of the show before we get into the nooks and crannies of what we're here to do, which is that sports talk thing. So everything we do here in this section, as always, y'all know what time it is. It's not always related to sports. I'm going to kick us off tonight. We just mentioned that it was Election Tuesday. I don't have any entertainment stories tonight, but I did want to put a PSA out and just hit us off with something a little serious, not too hard though. I want to say something real quick about this voting thing, because always leading up into this election, you got a lot of people out there, of course, talking about go out and vote, pushing votes. You got people saying I don't vote, blah blah blah. I'll say this. Those of you guys that do vote, it's more than just going out to the polls and voting. A lot of us think that's all what it's all about. I suggest, of course, it's too late now because the polls are closed. But in these elections, man, make sure that you are researching the candidates. Make sure you are researching these amendments and know who and what you are voting for.
That's true.
Because an uninformed vote is just as bad or just as dangerous as a uncast vote, in my opinion. On top of that, after we go into the polls and we give these people our votes, we have to make sure that we hold them accountable afterwards. A lot of these politicians on both sides are lying sacks of shit, and they say things just to get into whatever office they're trying to get into, and then they do what they want to do. So we got to make sure once we give these people our votes that we hold them accountable for what they say they were going to do. So to me, that's the whole process of voting. It's not just going in there, like I said, punching everything Republican or punching everything Democrat, coming out and get your sticker so you can take a cheese picture for social media. So it's got to be a little bit more than that. And I say that for myself as well, because I just started researching candidates maybe a couple of elections ago. But I have yet to do the latter part, what I just talked about, which is make sure I'm holding these people accountable and checking up on them after the fact. Most of us, 6 months, a year from now, we ain't gonna remember who the hell we voted for, honestly. So
that's legit.
That's it with it. So, but we got some good runners tonight. Hopefully, Stacey Abrams in Georgia wins. Senator, what's the guy in Florida? Andrew Gillum. So yeah, y'all get out there. And people that say that they vote don't count, please stop, because your vote does count. because otherwise they wouldn't be trying to take them away. You would have all these issues in a lot of these places, minority places, where no voting machines, 2 or 3 voting machines. I read something tonight. One of the precincts, they had machines, but they had no fucking power cords to the machines. What kind of shit is that?
The finesse.
So that's it. So I ain't gonna get too serious with that, but I did just want to say that, put that little PSA out there.
Hey, real quick before we get off of your topic, did you vote to make the Sunday times 11 a.m.?
Absolutely. I get tired of going to brunch to places on Sundays. It's 11:30. It's before 12 or 12:30, whatever the legal time is now, and they be like, "Nah, you got to wait till 12." So hell yeah, I voted for that because you know why? It's always 12 o'clock somewhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, I did my homework this week.
What you got for us, Hate?
I got a few crazy ones this week. I did some research. Okay, big dog. I need to understand this one. Okay, Marston Riley, a 64-year-old teacher. You probably saw this video in California. He fought the student and got locked up. Okay, why did a former teacher start a GoFundMe and raised $80,000? $85,000 to help him. Okay, people. A long time ago, your boy Uncle Hate was wanting to be a teacher. I'm glad that didn't work out. Some things happen and they God's plan. I'm not saying that the student was right because he was talking real greasy to him, but you the adult. You ain't supposed to square up with the student, and then we supposed to raise money for you. What the entire hell? Teachers don't make no money to begin with, so they pledging $85,000 for his legal fees and to help him.
That's probably like 2 years, maybe 3 years of his salary as a teacher.
Now, I saw that bread. They had to be a bad school, and I'm not saying them kids was in the right. They probably was some little jerks, but you ain't supposed to square up and fight no little kid, cuz.
Yeah, and because I saw the last time I saw the GoFundMe, it was up to like 15,000 with a goal of like 50. So they didn't crush the goal. 50 was the goal. Yeah. Okay, so they didn't crush the goal, but reading a few things, I think that this teacher, again, not to justify it, but just to give it context, I don't think that was the first incident. I think they've been fucking with him for quite a while. And they was taking his kindness for weakness. Because if you watch the video, homeboy took his glasses off, and you could tell he was contemplating, hey, I think I'm about to go ahead and just lose my job. The hell with it. And, and he hauled off on little buddy. So
kids ain't scared of teachers like back in our day. It's a totally different generation. Totally different. But he got $85,000 on his books and toward his lawyers and whatnot. So, hey, shout out to him. All right, this one here was funny. Shout out to Fox News for this one. Okay, this gentleman here named David Gomez Beltran. He's 19 years old, a San Antonio teen. He was supposed to start working at McDonald's his first day. He shows up late. They hit him with the, nah, you late your first day. You can't work. They sent him home. So David is sitting there his first day talking to the manager on duty. He's asking all kind of questions about surveillance and the footage and what happens when they get robbed. David waits on his ride, goes 5 miles down the street, and robs McDonald's.
Robs a different one than the one that he worked at?
Robs a different one than the one he was supposed to be working at. Hit him for $1,500.
Wow.
Hey, man, these young kids are savages, cuz. They're savages.
That's crazy.
You can't start your first day, so you go rob the next McDonald's? And the manager on duty should have known the dude. That was his first day, and he's asking you all type of questions, and you answering them.
Right. Only thing I'm trying to figure out on the first day is like, so when I get that first check, because you go that week in the hole, when do I get that first check? That's the only thing I'm worried about.
Right. Another old Uncle Hate story, long time ago. My first day working at the cell phone company, I went out and got drunk as hell the night before. I'm talking real drunk, people.
I wasn't with you.
No, you was with me. And I'm talking about throwing up in the bathroom drunk, people. And shout out to that manager, that boy Derek. He looked out for me. He sent me home and let me keep my job. I was supposed to get fired that day. He looked out for me.
That's what's up.
All right, next story. Tiffany White. Teachers are off the hook, man. This chick is in Texas, a special education teacher. She gets caught on video spitting on a student.
Oh, wow.
People, we got to start keeping the spit in our mouths. That is one of the most disrespectful things you can do to a person. I understand this is a special needs student, but that's unacceptable, B. And the parents didn't even file charges. Maybe they're going to see her in the street. Maybe that's what they plan on doing.
A little street justice.
Yeah, because you can't let that ride, B. You can't.
Yeah, the only time spit is allowed on another person's body. Well, I'm sorry, this is a PG show. Keep it. Well, it's not PG, but never mind.
Because you know Mama hate listening to you.
I'm not going there. Go ahead.
I don't want to get that damn report. Y'all cuss too much. Y'all got to cut that shit out. Shout out to Mama Hate.
What's up, Mama Hate? Speaking of Mama Hate, well, the picture from y'all at the game, bruh, that shit was funny.
Bruh, they was giving her hell the whole time in the stadium. They was like, what the hell? You got a Heat shirt on with a Hawks hat. Hey, Mama Hate's a Dwayne Wade fan. We was real close. Shout out to him. Shout out to that boy, Big Ted. All right, next one. What do we got? Okay. Motel 6 was on some sucker shit. Motel 6 has to pay out $7.6 million to a couple of Hispanic guests. I'm going to tell you what these suckers have been doing, B. Mm-hmm. They've been calling immigration on their guests.
Motel 6?
Yes. Telling the folks to come through and pick them up. Sucker shit all day long.
Yeah, that's some bullshit. That's probably all of their half of their clientele.
Right. And they've been catching them right around the border states, California, Arizona, a couple of them in Washington State. Whoever that manager on duty is or that sucker who been calling the folks, I hope he got fired for this because everybody not illegal. Everybody's not. That's terrible.
That's
and
crazy.
My last one. This is some millennial shit here. You know, we did some things in our time. We went to some parties that we probably shouldn't have went to, but we went. I don't believe even in our time we would have went to a purge party on Halloween. I don't believe we would have went.
I'm listening.
Hear about this shit?
Nah, I'm listening though.
Okay, a California nightclub had a purge party on Halloween. Okay, people, I've never watched these movies because it never made sense to me, but the purge is basically that one night where you can just do whatever you want, kill who you want. And these people thought it was a good idea to have this party at a nightclub on Halloween. Well, 7 folks got shot.
Oh, boy. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get it. I'll be the old man on that one because I'm not going to no party where people are possibly going to damage and harm me. That ain't going to work.
Because it's hard enough to get me out of the house as it is.
Oh, you already know.
To go anywhere where it's going to be a whole lot of people other than a sporting event.
You remember back in our time when we used to go to clubs and shit, Black Shield, them type of spots, they was like patting folks down. You can walk in the club with a gun now, it appears. Because we hear a lot of stories about dudes shooting in clubs. They must really not be on that whole, I'm going to pat you down, like, seriously stuff no more. Crazy.
I mean, probably because they probably don't even have, they probably feel they don't have to pat these younger cats down because, first of all, their jeans are attached to their legs. They so damn tight. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe they feel they don't have to. And, you know, they in there on a different vibe. We used to be on there on some 3-6 Mafia, No Limit, Cash Money back in the day type shit where it's pushing and fighting going on in the club for, you know, a lot of the time. So, you know, and our clothes was baggy, so you could tuck shit all day. But hey, you know, it's a different time.
Hey man, millennials do better. All right, big dog, you ready to go to work?
Yeah, man, let's get it in, people. Again, that was something like the news. Again, we like to hit y'all off with a little entertainment before we get into the good stuff. So we are going to go ahead and jump right on into these Week 9 scores. We're going to go ahead and run those down real quick, and we'll offer some additional feedback on a few of these games. Last Thursday's game, my Niners.
Ooh, shout out.
I told y'all the guy that we had putting in at quarterback, Nick Mullins, was third string. He had been on the practice squad for multiple years. To me, he looked terrified before the game started. Nah, he wasn't scared. Came out, threw for like 276, 3 touchdowns, and we stomped the Raiders 34-3. Now, part of this is because the Raiders are just bad. They're awful. They are awful. So, you know,
that game was over in the first half, B. It was over.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about Mr. John Gruden a little bit later.
Okay, yeah, because I saw that he cut. They cut Bruce Irvin this week.
Yeah, well, we can talk about that now. Is he like really approaching like fleece guy status? Because he has to be telling these folks they have a plan. How do you keep cutting your best players and you're getting better? Are any players gonna trust him?
Yeah, to me, Gruden. Only thing he had to do was just say from the jump he wanted it was going to be a rebuild. And people would have understand. And during the rebuild, yeah, you're going to get rid of some older players. You're going to get rid of some higher salary guys. Hey, it is what it is.
It makes sense.
But to come out and say we want to win and all this shit, and then you getting rid of all pro players like Khalil Mack, and you're getting rid of Amari Cooper and all these, all your veterans pretty much. Hey, I don't know what the hell they're doing. Well, we know what they're doing now. It's a rebuild. But he just made himself look stupid is what I was getting at before I start rambling.
Nah, it kind of speaks more to that rumor that was going around some months ago, and it's really still out there in the streets, that the Raiders don't have no money. So
yeah, they don't. They don't have
all the cats who make some money. So, they're just trying to eat their way, get to Vegas to when the bread gonna start coming in. Because right now, anybody makes money, you in trouble. So,
yeah. That's all they trying to do. To put it in layman's terms, they try to make it to a payday.
That's it.
They're trying to make it to a payday. So it is what it is. But they need to be focused on what the hell they're gonna play next year.
That really blew my mind when you dropped that the other week, because I just missed that whole thing. I thought they had that lease for at least 2 years.
Yeah, it's over this year. I mean, the possibility or the possible spots are them sharing the stadium with the 49ers.
That's reasonable.
And then I think there's another one about them playing in the old Charger Stadium, Qualcomm, down in San Diego. And I want to say there's another college or something. Another college. Oh, Cal. I want to say them playing at Cal Stadium is in the running.
Don't UNLV got a college football team? They can't play there?
Don't know. Does UNLV have a football team?
I don't know. That's a good
I ain't
question.
Never seen a UNLV football game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's some whack games. They come out like 11 o'clock at night on Saturdays. I'm not here for that. So.
Yeah, that's true. But
all right, let's keep it moving.
Yeah, but next up.
Go ahead, you got it.
Oh, you had some more on that game?
No, I was running the scores, but go ahead, you got it.
All right, Chicago Bears 41-9 over the Bills. I saw none of that game. Did you? All right, keeping it moving. The Kansas City Chiefs won 37-21 over the Browns. Patrick Mahomes is up to 101 touchdowns now. How many he got?
Man, it's a lot. We're gonna talk about him a little bit later.
I think it's 29 though, and that's just passing. So we'll talk about
30 now. Legit 30.
Did he get to 30?
Yeah, he had 3 Sunday.
Okay.
Crazy.
Okay, I thought he came in with 26 and he had 3.
I'm my bad.
Anyway, he got a lot. He got a lot of fun. He got a lot of
29 touchdowns through 9 weeks. That's a good look, right there.
Right. For a second-year quarterback.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For a second-year quarterback. And even the person that was most high on him coming into this year and last year, Louis Riddick was the only person that I heard from day one big up in this dude from the jump.
Yeah.
And he only thought he was going to throw 30 touchdowns this year. And he already right there. It's only halfway through the season, so
crazy.
They got him one. They got him one.
They sure do.
Next up, blah game. I heard this field was terrible after the Hurricanes, Miami Hurricane and Duke football game the night before. But the Dolphins
lost again.
Yeah. The Dolphins beat the Jets 13-6. Sam Darnold, to put it mildly, said he's just playing pretty stupid right now.
Hey man, but he's like the best thing since sliced bread, per Colin Cowherd. We gonna see.
Right. Minnesota Vikings 24-9 over the Lions. Matthew Stafford was sacked 10 times in this one game alone.
He should have gave them the Willie Beeman speech from Any Given Sunday. You remember when they wouldn't block for him? Mm-hmm. He should have gave him that speech because that shit was ridiculous. 10 sacks in one game.
That was horrible. I did not turn to that game not one time, but
me neither. No.
I'm glad I didn't. Next up, the Atlanta Falcons coming off a bye week looked impressive, 38-14 in Washington over the Redskins. Julio Jones finally caught his first touchdown 9 weeks into the season.
Crazy.
Yeah. Not
Shout
much to
out
add
to
to
him
that,
for
though.
that leadership though, because he ain't making it about himself. He been happy
Never.
with wins. All he care about is the wins. Shout out to
Right.
Julio.
Right. And then, in the climate where we in, well, not even the climate really, because diva receivers have been around forever.
Right.
You got your Odells out there, you got your Antonio Browns and whatnot, but you never hear Julio make a peep about catches, touchdowns, none of that
I
neat
don't.
stuff in here.
If I'm not mistaken, Julio ain't caught a touchdown since like week 12 or 13 of last year. Imagine
Right.
if AB or Odell hadn't caught no touchdown that long.
Exactly. And it wasn't as if the Falcons. It wasn't as if the Falcons were. They won their last 3 games to get back to 500, but early in the year they were looking pretty bad. But they didn't right it the ship. They back at 500 now.
We're gonna talk
So
about
they right there in the hunt for a wild card spot. Next up, your Panthers. For the most part, dominated this game. They went to sleep a little bit after going up pretty big, but they won.
Off the gas again.
Y'all tend to do that, but
Yeah,
I think any team could fall into that trap because y'all were like 35-7. Y'all were up.
we
I
was
think
up like 35-7 first half.
Yeah. So that's it's kind of easy to kind of get complacent a little bit, especially after the half. But y'all won 42-28 over Tampa Bay and them. The Steelers won a divisional game 23-16 over the Ravens. Hey, Steelers was another team we was talking about earlier in the season. What's wrong with them? Is Mike Tomlin on the hot seat? When Lev Bell coming to work? AB speaking out and things like that. Well, here they are, 4 wins in a row, and they looking.
I was wrong about that, and you were right. You kind of hit on it last week. I think some teams. Now you talked about it last week where you was like, well, basically a lot of this stuff where the dysfunction, they were this way, but look at them now. Certain teams, I think they kind of need that. This is really Pittsburgh every year. Every single year, this is them. Ben gonna throw somebody under the bus because ain't nothing ever his fault. They're gonna blame Tomlin. This is kind of their brand of, normal. This is them. So, shout out to them for that. Shout out to them. Now that Ravens thing, they
that's a whole another thing, and I've been dismissive of it. I know you brought it up a couple times over the last couple of weeks. Hey, John Harbaugh just might be on the hot seat.
Because they have not made the playoffs since they played y'all in the Super Bowl. How long ago was that?
Yeah, that was like 2012.
Right. Yeah. Now, one thing I will say, and this may not be popular amongst the brothers, but Lamar Jackson's not ready.
He's not. No, he's not ready. He's not.
I'm not going to be one of those ones that put him in the game. No, he's not ready at all.
Yeah. But, I think they might need a complete culture change there.
Why don't they just put RG3 in? He looks solid in the preseason. If you're gonna do that, I'd rather play him before I throw Lamar out there and mess him up.
Right. Because they brought in Crabtree, and Crabtree hasn't been as solid as he was in Oakland. What else is there?
John Brown was looking good early in the season, but it just done went from sugar to shit quickly. And it might be time for a different voice. Everybody don't stay 10, 12 years. I want to say Harbaugh and Tomlin are the longest tenured. Harbaugh, Tomlin, and Marvin Lewis are the longest tenured coaches. Yeah. So maybe it's time for a change.
Maybe. But last thing on the Steelers, winning cures everything. So it was real easy to get back on track when you winning. And
that's the best deodorant when you stink.
There you go. Now, I think it's on the list, so I'll save that. Lev Bell?
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
All right. Next up, running down the scores, the Texans winning 19-17 over the Broncos. Broncos missed a last-minute field goal that could have won the game, I believe.
Yeah, and Brandon McManus is normally solid, but this is just an L year for kickers. Y'all need to get y'all shit together, like, for real.
You got one job.
That's it. One job. That's it.
You ain't got to pick up no blitzes. You ain't got to run you ain't got to pick up hot routes.
There's no inclement weather in Denver in early November. All you gotta do is make your kicks. Do your job.
Yeah, a lot of these kickers are not doing their damn job. Speaking of kickers not doing their damn job, the San Diego Chargers went into Seattle and won 25-17 over the Seahawks. Caleb Sturgis got his ass a pink slip Monday. This is after he got the holder fired.
Right.
The previous week complaining about the holder. Nah, bro, it's you.
It's you.
You know, you get cut after a win, yeah, you know it's you.
I'm that jerk because I'd be that jerk like, nah, B, you got to fly your own way home. You cut right now.
Hey, man,
Right
I'm
now.
telling you, we've been on that for some years, and you fuck up to a certain extent. You don't get to ride the team bus or the team plane home, dog. You find your own way. Straight up. Straight up. Next up, we have
Title fight.
Yeah, title fight. Okay, here we go. The Rams and the Saints. Saints won 45-35. This is a pretty good game. It looked like it was going to be a blowout for a second.
Yeah, it did.
And then after halftime, the Rams came back and do what they do, tied the game up before Drew Brees and the Saints. And I'm sorry. Let's make sure that we mention Michael Thomas's name. 211 receiving yards. That boy is a beast. I told you last week how much I like him. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a quick question. Would you rather have him or Odell?
If I'm the Saints or just in general?
In general. And I'm gonna preface it with this. Michael Thomas is steady. You're gonna get, and that's what I like about him. He's steady. But go ahead. Which would you rather have?
I mean, I still think that Odell may be just a slightly better overall talent, but let's not forget Odell is playing with Eli.
That's true.
And Michael Thomas is playing with Drew Brees. Big difference. Big difference.
Very true.
One thing that popped out to me,
I like his physicality.
Like I said, I told you last week, I thought him and DeAndre Hopkins were the best catchers of the football in the league. Just the way he catch the ball with his hands all the time, never with his body. But Did you know he has 79 targets this year? Not 79 targets. He has 70 receptions.
He's not fucking around. He's catching everything.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Everything. Let me ask you a question. Did you watch most of this game?
Yeah.
Okay. What'd you think about them going for it on fourth instead of getting the points off that field goal close to the end of the half? Talking about the Rams. They did the fake, and the punter took off and tried to get the first, but he didn't get it instead of taking the points.
Okay. Now, I thought that was earlier, though, in the first half. Because they capped
the end of the half. It was close to the end.
But you remember they did get a field goal because the Saints went up.
It was like 4 or 5 minutes left. They did get a field goal late. But it's like everybody's going for it on fourth now. Everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it was a time that they, because it was an aggressive play calling game. Because the very first drive, the Saints went for it on fourth down when they could have kicked the field goal. They were looking at it like, we got to score points in this game. So, they were kind of the first ones to be on the aggressive and went forward on the fourth down that they probably should have just went ahead and kicked, but they ended up getting it. And so I think that the fake was probably a counter to the Saints doing it.
So this is just a new norm at this point. I shouldn't even trip about cats not taking the points at this point.
Especially with offenses like these, it's probably going to be that way, especially with aggressive play callers too in a high-scoring league. And like I said, all these games in the 30s and 40s now, that's probably the new norm. You're absolutely right.
All right, we'll talk about them a little bit further down the line. Let's go.
In the Sunday night game, Patriots won 31-17 over the Packers. It was a pretty even game up until the fourth quarter, which the fourth quarter I did not see. I was looking at the back of my eyelids by that point.
The fumble changed the game. Aaron Jones had about 70 yards on the ground. He looks really good for Green Bay. But when he fumbled that ball, Green Bay got it back, went up. It was 17-all at that time. They went up 24. That pretty much knocked the wind out of Green Bay. But it's almost this is their norm for the season, pretty much.
Yeah. So Green Bay fell to 3-4-1, I believe.
3-4-1.
Yeah, not looking good for him. And then last night, the Monday night game, the Titans going into Dallas, winning 28-14. Newcomer Amari Cooper had his first touchdown. He scored the first points for Dallas, going his first touchdown as a Cowboy. Not really much else thereafter, because who was his quarterback? Dakota.
He back to Dakota. I gave him Dak after he whooped up on the Jags, but he back to Dakota.
And
we're gonna talk about him in a little bit, but they got Manham.
Not only that, in the second half, how does Zeke Elliott touch the ball only 6 times? It seems like we talk about this shit every week, whether it's them or another team. People not running the ball. I don't get it. It was a tie, close game or a one-score game the whole game. Why did you abandon the run, Sean Linehan and Jason Garrett?
I'm okay with going against the run if you want to do that. But what I'm not okay with, their screen game with Zeke is the shit. Did they call a screen in the second half? I don't even think they did. And I watched most of that game.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to go away from the run game, like you just said, you could do that if you have a top-notch quarterback. They don't have a top-notch quarterback, so I don't think that that's something that they can afford to do.
But look at what he did first half on them screens. He was killing them. But you're right. I mean, I'm not saying they should not run the ball at all, because I think I've been on record pretty much the whole time on this show. Zeke is the star of this team. You have to run the ball through Zeke. Everything needs to go through him, but they just refuse to do that. But
the one thing that may have made it difficult, is because Zach is so limited in the pass game. You can say that they don't have the receiving options to get open. They don't have a tight end.
None of that shit.
They don't have a tight end at all. But if he's going to check the ball down or only throw screens or only throw 5-yard hitches and whatever, if you looked at what Tennessee defense started doing last night, they just started coming downhill. They just there was no threat of the ball going downfield, so they could just come downhill and smack the shit out of them all night. And that's exactly what they did.
No, I know that Travis Frederick is out, but are they missing any other starters from that vaunted offensive line?
Not that I recall. That line is playing like trash.
They got manhandled. I mean, and he held onto the ball a lot last night when he shouldn't have. He should have got rid of it in some cases, but we'll get to them in a second. But yeah, tough shit, Dallas. Tough shit.
Absolutely. So, one thing I did want to bring up about Dallas is that let me see. I'm gonna read some numbers off to you right quick, and you tell me what these numbers mean. 6, all right. 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 20, and 20.
What are those?
In 12 of their last 16 games, that's how many points they scored. They scored fewer than 20 points in 12 of their last 16 games.
That's unacceptable. Okay, that's unacceptable. But let me ask you this: did you see how they already said, "Yeah, we're trying to work out an extension with Dak"? I
saw that shit.
No. Jerry said he's gonna sign him.
I saw it. I'm gonna say I want to say I tweeted it as well.
And answer me this though.
Go ahead.
Is Troy Aikman gonna be welcome back anytime soon?
Yo, he be talking cash shit about them. He be talking cash shit about them.
That seemed like a hit 'em up style diss record he dropped today though.
You said they need a whole overhaul.
You know, they say they're gonna change. It's the same thing. Jerry doing the same thing. He not lying though. Nah. What's that line you like to lose? Where to lie at though?
Yeah. Exactly. And you know, and a lot of these vets, Michael Irvin not included because he's delirious.
Oh my God. Was he high yesterday?
Of course.
Okay.
But you know, a lot of these vets from these older teams, they'll go in on their old teams, especially these Hall of Famers, because you know they want to see them play up to the level that they played at when they was in the 90s or what have you, when they was winning championships. And all these years since the 90s, the Cowboys have been ass pretty much for the most part.
Trash, B.
You know, I don't know what's going to have to happen. Now, Jerry said that he's not going to make a change coaching in the middle of the year. I saw something today that said the last 2 times that he said that he made a change in the middle of the year. But if he does not make a change at the end of the year, we basically got another Marvin Lewis situation on our hands.
I kind of feel like that's his son. He ain't going to fire him. He ain't going to fire him. That's like his son.
Because I can't see them going on more than 6-10.
Oh, no. We're going to talk about them in a minute. We got them.
All right. So that's the rundown of the Week 9 scores. What you want to hit them off with next?
All right, we got a new section that we came up with this week. It's for the homie here. It's called Overreaction to Real Talk. I wanted to call
Uh-oh.
it Media Talk or Real Talk, but I want to say Overreaction because, something happened on Sunday. Come Monday, we overreacting to it. So I'm gonna hit you with a series of questions, and you give me that Diego energy, and you let me know if it's real or not.
All right.
All right. Are the Saints the best team in the NFC right now? Overreaction, real talk.
Mm, I'm gonna say that's real talk because they just knocked off the Rams. Um, Now I think they could do a little bit better pass wise defensively.
Right.
Run defense is pretty stout. They really held Todd Gurley in check.
Yeah, they really did.
For the most part, but that passing defense is what kept this game or got the Rams actually back into the game. But with that offense, and what's crazy about it is they really only got one receiver, and that's Michael Thomas.
That's it.
And they do, so I don't know how they're able to do all this with just him, but I knew know how. They got Alvin Kamara, they got Mark Ingram, and I really like that boy Taysom Hill.
I do too.
I really like what he brings in, what he brings to them. He is what Baltimore wished Lamar Jackson was at this point.
Is it possible to have a quiet 7-game win streak? Don't this feel like the Saints 7 games is quiet? Well, up until this week because they knocked off the Rams.
Yeah, it won't be quiet from here on out.
Nah, it definitely won't.
Yeah, they got the X, so they back now.
All right, so that's real talk. You with me on that one? All right, next up, the Chargers are the third best team in the AFC right now.
I'm gonna go slight overreaction on that. For me, the Chargers are one of these teams that I just think for some reason that they're cursed.
They healthy this year though, dog. They healthy. They be the main issue every year.
Not only that, that's always one of their big issues. One of their big issues also is that they don't finish seasons well. After Thanksgiving into December is when they start to turn and go the wrong way. So I think, and I want to say that we talked about it a couple weeks ago on this show, but I think they've gotten real fat on
some suckers.
On some suckers on a slim part of the schedule. Now, this is a good win going up to Seattle and winning. And they do look good now. Don't get me wrong. Phillip Rivers is passing the ball well. Melvin Gordon running that thing. I like what I see from him. The defense playing good, and they don't even have Bosa right now.
Right.
So, they very well could do some things, but I'm just scared of what's going to happen come December. But right now, I would put them behind Kansas City, the Patriots, and the Steelers. In no particular order.
Better than them right now?
I think if they play right now, I think the Steelers would beat.
Dig that. All right, next up. The Rams defense is a legit concern. Real talk
absolutely.
Or overreaction.
Oh, that's the realest of real talk right there. That's the realest of real talk, especially when it comes to that secondary. I admire Marcus Peters. I don't know if you saw his locker room interview.
I did.
I admire him standing up and saying, "Hey, I'm playing like shit right now. I was getting beat. It is what it is. But you can't keep getting beat like that. They got to do something about that."
Has it been? Is it time for Talib to come back yet, or he still got weeks?
Well, he's on the IR designated to return, so he went out. What was that? Week 1, week 2? I know him and Peters got hurt the same week.
Yeah.
And I want to say he was on NFL Network today.
Yeah, he's been on there this whole week, I believe.
Yeah. So I did mean to check up on him to see exactly how his rehab is coming, whether he's going to be coming back or not. But they need him.
Yeah, they really
they definitely need him, because one thing you saw in this Saints game, I think we touched on it in the preview last Thursday show. If they did not get pressure on Drew Brees up the middle with Donald and Sue, that they was going to have a tough time, because you can't let Drew Brees sit back there in the pocket. That's exactly what happened. No sacks. I think they may have touched him 1 or 2 times.
It wasn't much. I believe it was 1 or 2.
Yeah, but that secondary on the back end, it's leaking. It's leaking oil bad. It's leaking oil bad.
All right, next up. Will the Patriots lose another game this year? Remaining games. Titans, or these are road games. Titans, Jets, Miami, Pittsburgh. Home games. Vikings, Bills, Jets.
I'm going to say they're going to lose. I say they'll lose one more game, probably.
Pittsburgh.
I'm gonna say Pittsburgh as long as Mike Tomlin and as long as they don't start talking shit like they did. Was that last year?
They killed themselves before the game last year.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 weeks before the game, they was already talking about the Patriots. So hopefully they've learned from that. But I don't see them losing to the Titans, Jets, or Miami. The Vikings in New England, it'll probably be a decent game, but I would give the pass the edge. Of course, they're not losing to the Bills, and again, they're not losing to the Jets. So if they're going to lose, it's going to be that Pittsburgh game, I think, on the road.
Random question before I move on to the next one. What's the biggest dumpster fire right now, Oakland or Buffalo?
I'm gonna say Oakland. I'm gonna say Oakland, just for the fact that they've got $100 million guaranteed coach who's came in, made all these changes. None of that shit's working. Sold everybody a bill of goods, and now they're doing something different. Buffalo, we knew they sucked before they came. We knew that they sucked coming into the season. So there's no surprises there. None whatsoever.
Dig that. All right, we're back on your boy Dakota and the Cowboys. Are they done? I'm going to give you their next 5 games. You tell me what their record going to be. They got Philly on the road, Atlanta on the road, Washington at home, Saints at home, Philly at home. What's it going to be, big dog?
The only game that they may win is that Washington game.
Hold on, let me go to the first page and see what their record is. They are
right now. They 3-6.
They 3-5. So you said they're gonna lose their next 4. So that's a wrap.
That's what I said. I got them going 6-10 for the rest. I got them going 6-10. Yeah. All those next 5 games, yeah, they not winning at Philly. I don't think. Philly getting right.
You remember we was on the personal chat last night, and I was being optimistic, and I was like, "They're coming off a bye. I expected more." Can you tell the people what you told me?
Shit, what the hell that mean? Dakota is what he is. He didn't learn how to throw the ball down the field. He was gonna learn that in the bye week.
I be expecting the most, but it don't be working out that way.
Nah, it's a wrap. Yeah, it's a done deal. And you know why they're a done deal? Even all that we said, really why they're a done deal?
Tell me why.
Because Sean Lee, the all-star Sean Lee is hurt.
Can they cut him? Just, you know what? I wouldn't even cut him. I'd walk up to him in the locker room if I'm Sean, the coach Garrett, and I'd hand him a clipboard, be like, dog, it's kind of time. You take this clipboard, you help these young boys out, because your hamstrings are Twizzlers. You can't stay healthy. You just can't.
Yeah.
So, all right, next up, Patrick Mahomes. Might be 29, might be 30, who knows. Will he break Peyton Manning's 55 passing touchdown record this season? Their remaining games, Arizona, the Rams, Oakland, the Ravens, Chargers, Seattle, and Oakland.
Based on that schedule, yes, he should break it. And he may break it in the next 3 games playing Arizona, the Rams, and fucking Raiders.
Because what if he throws 60 touchdowns? And this is like his first legit year starting. He only started 1 game last year. That's crazy.
It really is. The MVP race is going to be very interesting because you got Drew Brees.
I meant to put that on the show. Who do you have in the pole position right now? Number 1 for MVP. I kind of think Drew Brees done forced his way into the conversation.
Oh yeah, he's definitely in the conversation, and of course, I think he's going to get a slight edge just because he's the vet. He's Drew Brees. He's broken a couple of all-time records already this year with the 500 touchdowns and all-time passing yards. So that's going to give him a little extra boost with some of these voters and writers that vote on these things. But
yes,
for me, for a second-year quarterback, doing what this dude is doing,
one start, week 17.
Yeah, and I want to say he just threw his first interception win last week before.
Was it against the Patriots? Nah, it was against the Patriots. I think that was his first pick against.
Well, he don't have very many.
No, he don't have. He has under 5 easily.
Yeah, for me, it's Patrick Mahomes right now because you got all those weapons, and it's easy to say it's easy to do with all those weapons, but he's spreading it around all those weapons. He's keeping everybody happy. That's hard to do for a young quarterback because you can throw a lot of touchdowns, but if this person don't feel like they getting their piece of the pie, that could cause some problems. You know how people's egos get on teams. Even though we winning, I ain't getting mine.
Hey, I was just about to speak on that. That disease of me has not affected this team. And one thing I know about that disease of me is contagious.
Contagious,
It's contagious, dog. And it has not affected them. Tyreek Hill ain't really balled the last couple weeks. I ain't heard shit. I ain't seen no sideline mess, throwing no jugs, kicking nothing. They winning.
Nothing.
And that's all that matters.
In the first couple of weeks, Kareem Hunt didn't really get
Nothing.
to do much. You know what I'm saying? So I like Mahomes right now for the MVP. If I had a vote right now, I'd give it to him.
This AFC battle gonna be tight down the stretch, because that home field gonna be real important in AFC. Really important.
Very, very. Everybody knows you don't want to have to go to Foxborough.
You don't.
In January.
They're much more susceptible to a loss on the road than they are in Foxborough. Yeah. All right, last one. The Falcons were listed as, dead on arrival in a lot of cases, but, we said it weeks ago on this show. We looked at the schedule. They're going to be 4-4 real soon. We called it. Well, they hit 4-4. Have they righted the ship enough to make the playoffs? I'm going to give you the remaining games. At the Browns, Dallas, at the Saints, Ravens, Green Bay, Arizona, at Carolina, at Tampa. They 4-4 right now. What you got them going?
With that remaining schedule, I think they will probably go 4-4. I think they probably will still be on the outside looking in just a little bit, just for the simple fact they started behind so much, and you've got teams in the NFC who's in front of them? You got the Vikings in front of them. Hold on, let me pull it up real quick.
Damn, so I know the Browns is a dub. I figure they're going to beat Dallas at home. They should beat Arizona at home. And they should beat Tampa on the road. You got the Ravens beating them?
It's possible. The Saints game, the Green Bay game, they got to play y'all. That last game against Tampa on the road. Who knows?
Tampa will play them hard. They will.
Right. But I'm just saying, even if they go 5-3, like I said, right now they are on the outside looking in at the playoffs started today. So right now they're in the 7th spot. So they one game, or really a half a game, because the Vikings have a tie. So if the playoffs started today, Vikings and Panthers would be the wild card spot. They're pretty much playing for a wild card spot. I think the Saints are way too far ahead for them to win the division.
We got a chance to catch them, but I don't believe they do.
Right. And if y'all catch them, that means the Saints are going to fall back into the wild card. So you just really got to keep an eye on the Vikings if you're a Falcons fan to see. But matter of fact, let's go ahead and pull it up real quick. Let's see what the Vikings schedule like, and I'll give you a concrete answer right now. Because depending on what the Vikings do.
Y'all not blaming Sark now, huh? When y'all put up 38 on the road.
So the Vikings have they're on a bye this week. They have at the Bears, the Packers at home, at New England, at Seattle, Dolphins, at the Lions, and then the Bears to end the season.
I don't know about that. Outside of that Miami game, those could go either way.
They should beat the Lions, and I think they will beat the Bears both times. If the only games I would be concerned about, I think they'll lose again the New England game, at Seattle, and then the Green Bay game, because that's a tough division game. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight for the Vikings and Falcons coming down the stretch. And that tie could help them, or
how many games on the road?
4.
Okay, so they're gonna be. So the rest of them games gonna be in Chicago in the snow. So yeah, it's gonna be.
Well, they play at Chicago after the bye week, so that's next week. After this week.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The very last game of the season when they play Chicago is at home.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely gonna see. So that's a good point you came up with. The Falcons need to be looking at Minnesota, but only thing they can do on their end is take care of what's in front of them and win them games, and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean the fans they should be looking at Minnesota. The Falcons, the team, they just need to do what they need to do and not really worry about anybody else at this point. It's a lot of football to be played. Because once you start looking at other teams and start looking at teams down your schedule, that's when you fuck up.
Absolutely. They don't have the same energy they had coming into the season because everybody expected them. We're gonna play for the Super Bowl at home. You had the injuries, and I think I gave them a pass this whole year in regards to that. But one thing I will say, don't nobody want to see Atlanta as a wild card team. I don't believe that.
Yeah,
because they can score.
Yeah, because they can. You're right. They can score.
So they ain't stopping nobody, but they can put up points.
Now, what's going to be big? Are they going to get Deion Jones back off IR within the next couple of weeks?
Thanksgiving. So, yeah, he's designated to return.
Yeah, so we're gonna see how that goes, and we haven't talked about them in this wild card discussion. Keep an eye out for Philly.
No, I think Philly gonna win the division.
No, because Philly is they're right there. Philly, the Seahawks, and the Falcons are right there at 4-4 together.
They one game behind Washington right now. Washington lost 3 starters on Sunday, 2 on the offensive line. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Philly gonna win that division. Coming off the bye, I think they're gonna have a whole different mindset. They're gonna get it going. They got Tim Jernigan back this week, I saw.
And they got Golden Tate now.
They got Golden Tate. So yeah, it's about to get good now. So football fans, you in for it. Shout out to Kane Ice, those Philly fans. Shout out to you. All right. Let's jump into these last few NFL tidbits before we get up out of here on the NFL section of this. Lev Bell bid farewell to Miami. Is he going to show up Tuesday of next week?
I think he will. I don't think I would at this point because
break that down. Break that down to me. What you hit me with the other day.
Yeah. So the whole time, and we thought initially he had enough seasons to be a free agent after this year, but the media kept telling us that he didn't, so we ran with that. But come to find out, no, he don't have to play at all this season. He can still be a free agent unless they put the transition tag on him.
Right.
Next year. The franchise tag, they can still use it, but they're not going to use it because they would have to pay him like $20-something million next year. That's not happening. So he doesn't have to come back this year in order to be free next year because even if they put the transition tag on him, he can go get another deal, and then they have the opportunity to match it or not, which they probably won't. Which they probably won't do. But I think he'll come back. I think, and I'll ask you what you think as well. I think he set out longer than he probably initially intended to.
I believe that.
Just for the fact that James Conner has played well and the team has started winning.
Yeah.
You got these fans out here who are basically talking cash shit about Lev Bell. He ain't shit. He's thinking about himself. I think if they would have been in a bigger hole and losing, I think he would have came back. I think he would have came back to help them. But the fact that they've been winning. One
thing, too, outside of that, the offensive line and all the players, they ain't help him move no closer to the team anyway. Wasn't it an understood rule, you don't talk on another man's money? Like, if he going through some shit, no comment. You don't talk about it. It's between him and the organization. Philly, not Philly. Pittsburgh has been all year long. Man, we don't care. We ain't even thinking about him. Word.
Mm-hmm. And I do think they missed the offensive linemen in particular, those first couple of weeks. I think they did make a big misstep talking about his money. A few of them came back the following week and tried to kind of fix it a little bit, try to rearrange their words. Yeah. But, you still hear things here and there. Like, for instance, Mike Tomlin just past week said we worried about the people who here, not hostages.
He said we want volunteers instead of hostages, some shit.
Right.
Castro said something about we don't even care if he comes back. Really?
Right. And now from a player standpoint, I kind of get it a little bit because it's week 8, week 9. You're tired of answering these questions over and over again. So at some point, you're going to get those kind of curt answers from players. But Mike Tomlin as a coach, that's the telltale side right there because the coach is pretty much the pulse of the locker room.
Right.
And so I think that was a big telltale sign of how they feeling right now. But at the same time, if he comes back into that locker room, I think they'll work it out because, like I said, dysfunction is their thing.
It is,
you know, and so AB got his back if nobody do.
And truth be told, you can play them together, him and Connor. I'd put Lev at that slot receiver in a heartbeat.
Yep, because that's my plan for my 49ers to go after him. To go after him next year. Put McKinnon ass back there, put Lev Bell in the slot a little bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you got to throw those type of looks at New England. You can't just play them with the same shit you did last year. You got to make up with them. So
right, and you have you got Kansas City out here scoring all these points. And if you plan on getting through the AFC and getting to the Super Bowl, you are more than likely going to have the Saints or the Rams or the Falcons or Philly or somebody else that can score a lot of points waiting on your ass. So Pittsburgh fans, do not play yourself and think that at some point Lev Bell can't help you.
Absolutely. All right. I'm going to bring up a name that you told me we couldn't talk about no more because he didn't want to play football. Well, guess what? Dez Bryant was in New Orleans for a workout today. He's been real Instagram famous for the last couple of weeks, and it really kind of turned me off. I'm like, damn, cuz maybe he really don't want to play football. It was his birthday the other day. He been shining and whatnot, but he went for a workout for New Orleans because I believe they only have 4 active wide receivers on Sunday. Good fit or not?
Well, with the lack of receivers they have, yeah, I think it's a good fit. Now, I think they need somebody. Not that Michael Thomas ain't got speed, but I think they are still missing that kind of speed element. Because Michael Thomas to me is, he's out. You know, they've always had, whether it be Ted Ginn, Kenny Stills, or Robert Meacham, Devery Henderson.
That's the one I was thinking about. Devery Henderson, yeah.
They always had somebody that's just going run a go route and take the top off the defense and then let us work up underneath with Colston or Jimmy Graham or whoever else they had. They don't have that. They don't have that right now. Which is, again, this is amazing how they are able to do what they do up until this point, and nobody is able to stop them as of yet. So I think it'd be a good fit, especially if he had to go work out and the choices were between him, Brandon Marshall, and Kamir Aiken.
There's 29, B. If he can't beat them out,
you know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know if you saw, they made Brandon Marshall and Kamir Aiken work out together today. And Dez held his own. They worked him out separately after them by itself.
They should have known what it was. Then.
So that's kind of a sign. I think they just wanted to see. I think they kind of had it in their mind already. They just wanted to see if he was in shape. Looking at Bleacher Report right now, as of 12 minutes ago, they are currently negotiating a contract with Dez. So, Dez probably
chances like don't come around often, people. They really don't. Take advantage of this shit, Dez. They give you a second chance. Take advantage of it.
Absolutely, and this will be. I mean, Tony Romo was all right, but this will be the best quarterback he can play with.
Absolutely,
by far.
And you know the type of asshole Sean Payton is. He gonna try to get Dez off.
Oh yeah,
he gonna try make him look real good to say, hey, I can make him look good. That's on y'all.
Right. And you got a veteran quarterback and a coach like that. Any antics, and I'm using air quotes for those of y'all that's listening to us on Spreaker or iTunes. Any antics that may be out there, Drew Brees and Sean Payton can handle that shit. I mean, you got Sean Payton on the sideline throwing up choke signs and doing all kind of shit himself.
I like him.
Yeah, so I think it'd be a good fit. It's a contender, so I think Dez would be ready to go.
Sean didn't get no extension this past year, did he?
I'm not sure.
Jerry need to throw everything he can at him, try to get him to come back home. I digress. We already talked about the Raiders.
I'm Sean Payton ain't going nowhere near that shit.
I mean, you know, they come at him with that Gruden money. They might. You got to remember, Drew Brees has to negotiate a new contract like every year with this team. You know, every year it's coming down to, we got that 1-1 for you, dog. That's it. That's all we got. Never mind the fact that you ball. You know? Didn't
Benson, the owner Benson, he died, right? So now the wife or somebody else running the team, right?
The wife is in charge and the kids are drove. The young wife, excuse me.
Okay. Oh, that's right. They got cut out of everything.
Yes.
Ooh,
she owns the Saints
And the Pelicans. Well, Uncle Hate, I don't know what happened to him. He'll be back in a second, folks. We will pause for a quick break. One moment here at AA Sports. There you go. He's back.
There we go. All right, let's round this out. All right, Bruce Arians said that he would consider coming out of retirement to coach the Browns. What do you think about that? I kind of think it's a good look.
It would be good for Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, old school cat. I like his swag about him. I think that'd be solid. So, but we talking about the Browns. Hell, they'll probably hire.
Yeah, be careful what you're getting yourself into, Bruce Arians. Be careful what you're getting yourself into.
You know what I can see the Browns doing? I can see the Browns waiting on Marvin Lewis to get fired and then bringing him in. So,
waiting on who to get fired?
Waiting on Marvin Lewis to finally get fired, and they hire him like the day after. Like, hey man, he's a perfect coach for us.
Waiting on who to get fired?
Hey man, it's gonna happen at some point.
Marvin Lewis is never getting fired.
He'll be fired this year. I'm gonna take it this year. He'll be fired this year. All right, let's run through these last little sports tidbits. Get up out of here.
Put a 3-piece Popeyes on it with sides.
Take that. Bet. Take that. It gotta happen, B. At some point, it has to happen.
Bet.
It has to happen.
We get an extension like every year, every other year.
It gotta happen. All right, let's run through these last few tidbits. Speaking of fuckery, Floyd Mayweather has signed to fight an MMA fight first of the year. Did you see that dude that they said he fighting?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, next story.
I don't think now the terms of what they're gonna actually do, I don't think it's been released yet, right?
Nah, the terms ain't gonna be released, and that dude look real small, man. I mean, I know Floyd is small, but that don't even like a real fight, like at all. So I'm not featuring.
I'm interested in to see if it's a straight boxing match. Then yeah, and there's nothing to talk about. But I saw Floyd tweeted a picture with him with MMA gloves on. So I want to see the actual rules. Is he dumb enough to get in there and do some mixed martial arts with a mixed martial arts dude?
That dude looked like what did 50 say on the gram? He fighting an Uber driver. That was pretty funny.
But if you go into his wheelhouse though, you opening yourself up. Yeah. You're opening yourself up because if they allowed to kick and do all that shit, Floyd ain't used to that.
I wonder how much money they're paying him to do this.
Who, Floyd or the other dude?
Floyd. I mean, the other dude, he gonna take whatever they give.
Floyd, he the money. He ain't no middle. He cutting out the middleman. It's all under his promotion, so he gonna get a nice little piece of change.
Man, hey, all right. We talked about this on the side on Saturday. Have we had this thing wrong the entire time with Jimmy Butler? Is he being a good businessman or a sucker?
Yeah, it's a little bit of good businessman in there, but I'm starting to see some sucker shit in here because you holding the team hostage. I'm only gonna play on nationally televised games, or
basically,
I'm gonna tell y'all when I want to play. I don't care if I got a headache. I ain't doing shit. At first, it was funny, ha ha ha. All right, Jimmy's being Jimmy, but it ain't funny no more because he's still with the team, and they have not traded his ass.
See, this is the shit we be talking about where you be like, where the vets at? Like, you think if Oakley was his vet, he'd be pulling this mess? Like, I'm not going to play with every other week, every other game, national television.
Well, see, the problem is the vets on the team are his old homeboys from Chicago.
His homeboys.
D-Rose, Todd Gibson, Thibodeau. Them the only dudes that could possibly try to put him in check, and they his homeboys.
Hey, all right. I'm gonna give you a whole Hayden Diego story. You remember when we would go hang out and we hang out with our old boy Big Trick, and Trick would always tell me, "Hey dog, don't let me go ham. Stop me when it goes the other way." And I would say, "Hey dog, you get the fuck out of my face." Don't say shit. That's Jimmy when Taj and them come to him.
Right.
They can't tell him nothing, B.
You can't tell him nothing. Nothing at all.
I'm starting to see sucker though. I'm really starting to see sucker. But I don't understand why they haven't taken that Houston trade at this point. Just take it. I mean, 4 number ones and 2 players. If you holding out for PJ Tucker and Eric Gordon, this dude is holding your team hostage. He's legit holding your team hostage.
You're right.
Yeah, do something different. Speaking of Houston, they brought back their defensive coordinator, Jeff Bisdelic. I mean,
Okay,
you
yeah,
know what?
you
And I
threw me
saw,
off with this. I was like, defensive coordinator. What the hell is he
you
talking
know,
about?
ain't that something that teams have guys strictly in basketball now, strictly for defense? You know, my thing with this is, I mean, does it matter? Nobody's playing defense in the NBA now. Nobody.
I mean, you can have the best defensive coach that you want, but you don't have players that play defense.
Exactly. We talked about it the other day on the side as well. I mean, you know, you can get legit money as a quote unquote defensive player. You know, you still giving up 40, but hey dog, I made him work for it. You still gave up 40. So
Right.
I mean, nobody's playing defense nowadays. So I mean, we gonna see what's happening. I don't believe that these cats want to play defense, but we gonna see. All right,
Hey man, they play for Mike D'Antoni.
they ain't playing no damn defense. So
Not at
all
all.
right. LaMelo Ball enrolled in an Ohio prep school and will play for them next week. So he went to Lithuania, all over the United States with the JBA or JBL, whatever it is, and he went right back to high school. You know, I like a lot of stuff LeVar has done, but Jello should have went to UCLA, and this boy should have played in high school. You know, you should have did it that way. Now, I mean, he done got bigger. He's up to about 6'7", 6'8", but, you know, we're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, he's still only like, 18, 19. So,
Yeah.
you know, he still got time. Now, with the prep schools, I've never heard of this particular prep school.
Me neither.
I sent you a tweet. They got a 7'7" kid
Wow.
at this same prep school. Now, he's like 7'7" and 130 pounds wet, but he's
like
7'7".
Basically. Yeah.
Even thinner.
Okay.
But, you know, now I think what really happened to start this whole process is LeVar wanted to coach that Chino Hills high school team.
He did.
And if not coach it, he wanted to be able to tell everybody that did coach the team what to do. And that new coach that came in there, see that coach that was there when Lonzo was there and when Jello was there, he let that shit ride. This new coach came in right out the back. It's like, nah, bro, that shit ain't happening. This my team. You're going to get the fuck out the way, and I'm going to coach this team the way I want to coach it. LeVar didn't like that shit, so that's when he pulled Melo out, and then that's when the Lithuania shit and all that shit transpired. But I think long and short, this just means that he understands now LaMelo ain't ready to be no pro.
No.
Not right now.
Not with all that damn cherry picking. No.
Right. So, he still got game. He still got time to grow, man, but just let him develop. There's no rush, because if you rush him, you're just going to damage him.
You know the real part about it? He can go play G League ball next year and get $100,000 for 1 year.
I mean, he's gonna have to. He's gonna have to because his NCAA eligibility is gone because he's not already.
Today they said he didn't make $1 playing over in Lithuania. Get out of here with that BS. Said that's why he was eligible to play in high school this year because he ain't make no money in the JBL or in Lithuania. Say word. But he driving a Lambo, right?
Hey, LeVar cooking them books.
Yes, sir. All right. We talked about Bryce Harper. We can move off of that. All right, last story. Luke Walton.
No, we didn't. We talked about that before we started.
Oh, my bad. Okay. Bryce Harper. He turned down what was termed an aggressive offer from the Nationals. Said it was less than $400 million, but it was still aggressive. I want to say the highest contract was Juan Carlos Stanton at like $325. They had to come with him at least $375, $350.
Right.
Where
That's
does he
a lot. Let's see who got the money. If I'm thinking on top of my head, I know Philly, Cubs, and the Yankees.
Dodgers. There's no salary cap, so they all got money.
Philly, Cubs, and the Dodgers. Now, Machado, I think he pretty much gave LA the deuces in a tweet or Instagram statement. You can read between the lines as he's more or less said, "Hey, thanks for my time here, deuces."
Yeah.
So they're not going to pay him. So LA would be in the running. Philly, like you said, New York. I think Bryce Harper wants to be in a little bit bigger of a market than DC.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, and with the way that the Braves are coming up in that division, Philly actually was better than the Nationals this year too. I think the Nationals had their time. They dominated the division for the better part of the last 5-7 years or so.
Yeah, the whole time we were tanking basically.
Yeah, and have come out with nothing to show for it. So I think it's time for him to go. We said it during the All-Star break. He's a rock star, and
He's a star, people.
He want to be in the rock star market. So, yeah, that's what
We're
I think.
gonna see. He gonna get a bag really soon. It's gonna be a whole lot of guaranteed money really soon.
Mm-hmm.
All right, last story for the night. All right, dog. Is Luke Walton gonna make it to the All-Star break?
Now this one is hard for me because
I know you ain't been watching full time, but you've been peeking in here and there.
Yeah, I've been peeking in here and there, but even with me peeking in and watching, I still don't really take NBA seriously until they play about 20, 25 games.
Yeah, I agree.
It is obvious that this team is still trying to figure it out because they lose a couple games and they win a couple. They play good, they still up and down. Mostly losses, but they still haven't figured out what they're going. Defensively, they are still a mess. So I mean, who knows? Now we know.
I don't think it's his fault, quite frankly.
No, I think they just got too many new pieces that they still trying to figure this shit out. Now we know the history of LeBron with new teams. Early on, they had their growing pains, they struggle, but at some point, history also tells us that LeBron teams will go on a win streak or a run at some point.
But we coming up on January. Well, not like immediately, but January is normally when the discontent really kicks in. But I don't think it's his. I don't think it's Luke's fault. I mean, they had no size. They got LeBron playing down in the post, and at this stage in his career, I can't blame LeBron in year 16 for not wanting to go give 150% on defense. You didn't bring him there to play defense. You didn't.
This next I think from now until Christmas is going to be big. I think they did go ahead and sign Tyson Chandler today.
Yeah.
I think I saw that. So I think that'll definitely help on the defensive end as far as rim protection. So we'll see. I really don't know. I really don't know.
I just feel like shit rolls downhill, so they had to have somebody to blame. But when Luke took that job, it wasn't with, hey, we're trying to win right now. It was, we're going to develop these young cats. The whole premise done changed. So
right. So we'll see. My only question would be, if you get rid of Luke Walton, who are you getting?
You know what they're gonna do.
You better not say Ty. You better not say Ty Lue.
Bringing in Ty Lue.
Man,
he won a title as a Laker. They're gonna bring Ty Lue in because your boy LeBron, your man's, is back there like, I fuck with Ty Lue. Yeah, bring him in. Yeah.
But now, after actually having to play with Ty Lue as a coach, do you think LeBron thinks he can coach?
LeBron the coach anyway. He's the coach. In every situation, LeBron is the coach. It's kind of like, it's funny to me. We got to get up out of here, but I watched a few of their games. He deferred like the first couple games. Hey man, that ball right back in his hands. Tigers don't change their stripes, people. LeBron is gonna have that ball in his hands. I said before they signed him, I'd love to see him play point guard for him. Start a big lineup. I'd love to see that shit, but I don't want Lonzo off the court either. So,
Do you think some of him? I don't know what the hell's in my eye, but I'll get it out in a minute. Do you think some of him, if he started to take the ball over more, is because they've been losing and trying to figure things out, and he's trying to get some type of stable environment?
Dog,
stabilize a little bit.
Dog, long as we've been watching LeBron, when has he ever played with young players?
Right, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he haven't really played with young players.
Right, he get rid of the young guys and get the vets in there. I just think if he's smart, if LeBron is smart, and I know he is, there's not a shot or any type of shade, stay the course. Get these young boys right. Let them take their bumps. You're going to be better for it down the line. At least that's my thinking of it,
And that's pretty much what he's been echoing from the start, even before the season started. So, of course, now that the season is starting, they're taking some L's. You're going to have, your headlines and the narratives out there. But I think overall that's still the plan. I think it's too early to jump to any conclusions or fire anybody or make any drastic changes right now.
Yeah, I didn't care for Magic, letting that out there, talking about, Luke gonna stay in charge until something changes or something goes drastic. Man,
right.
Look at that team you put together. Seriously.
Yeah. That was to me. That's a misstep on Magic's part.
Exactly.
Because if you're gonna have that conversation, you keep that in house. Because once you let that get out, Once you let that get out, then that's gonna take a whole life of its own.
Yeah, I ain't care for that. So do better, Magic. All right, big
All
dog.
right.
That's all I got.
All right, people. Well, we have had a pretty good show tonight with a lot of stuff. So,
hey man, we graded out pretty good tonight. That was a solid show. Shout out to you.
shout out to you as well, big dog. Tell these people where to reach you at on social media where they can get all of this good content 24/7.
Oh, I gotta say something real quick.
All right, what you got?
If we win Thursday, I am trolling Miss Diego so hard on Thursday. We played them Pittsburgh Steelers. We got to win, dog. I need this win, but you can reach me at Rike6000. Holler at me. I talk sports.
I'll make sure I relay that message. So check your phone. I'm pretty sure you'll be getting the terrible towel pictures the day of the game. But y'all can follow me at Diego Barish on Twitter as well. Don't forget to make sure you hit up the show on Twitter at AA Sportscast. We're on IG. We're on Facebook. Shout out to the Urban Arena crew. Some great shows out there as well. Get With It Sports, Big Boy TV. Y'all go check them out as well.
Get some guests in here. We ain't do that.
Then, like you said, hey, subscribe to the show on iTunes or Spreaker. And also, if you'd like to look at our ugly ass faces, then hit us up on the YouTube channel. Leave some comments there as well.
Hey, let's get off of here and watch the best matchup that money can buy between Duke and Kentucky.
What time does that game come on?
9:30.
Okay, well it's 9:52, so it's already on. I'm assuming.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're gonna get up out of here, people. But y'all be good. Y'all be easy. We'll see y'all in a couple of days for the Week 10 picks, and we up out. AA Sports, baby, straight sports, no chasing. Y'all be easy. Peace.
Peace.